Recently, I went through a time where I felt like I wasn't getting anywhere. I felt like I wasn't progressing at all. I felt like I was trying to be better, but I kept failing, and I kept doing the thing I hated most, which is waste time. And because I have a channel like this, it made me feel more hypocritical because I've been telling people to improve themselves when I myself haven't been like adhering to those principles. And this wasn't the first time that I've done this. There's been multiple periods in my life where I've been on self-improvement and I just haven't been making some progress. I've had like pauses, you know what I'm saying? Like where you just a little stretch where you're just not doing anything. And I've said this before, I am no better than anybody else watching this video. I too fail myself. I too do things that aren't good. Like I don't always make the best decisions. But through prayer and self-analyzation, I have gotten myself out of this feeling of just failing all the time. So here's what I want you to know if you haven't gone through this feeling yet or if you are currently going through this feeling. Now, the first thing I want to tell you is that you have to stay strong. It's pretty obvious, right? If you want to improve yourself long term, you need to stay on the path of self-improvement. You can't just disregard self-improvement. You have to try to endure this feeling, because if you do that, if you say, okay, I'm not quitting, I'm not gonna stop improving myself, I'm gonna get through this, then in the end you will. So that's the first thing. You need to stay strong and you need to be committed to self-improvement. What I did was I also reminded myself of the progress that I've made, telling myself that, hey, I might be doing bad right now, but I know that I can do better. And I try to remind myself also the principles that I started out with, stuff like just being consistent and disciplined. The very basic things, I try to remind myself of those, because when I'm failing consistently, I want to just go back to the basics and then I can rebuild myself. You know what I'm saying? My problem was self-control. So I asked myself, how do I gain self-control, right? Whatever your problem is, whatever you're failing at, whether it's you're wasting a lot of time like I was, whether you have no self-control or you have no discipline, you don't go out and do the things that you're supposed to do, whatever your problem is, instead of like whining about it, or instead of like complaining about how you keep failing at it, try to break down what you can do to fix that problem. And I know that sounds very obvious, just like fix your problem, just figure out what you have to do. But like if you just take some time, just sit down away from all the screens, all the computers, everything, just like outside or something, or just in a place where you just have time to think, like no external sources impeding your thoughts. If you do that and you make a plan on how to fix your problem, you're going to be able to fix it, right? So my problem was self-control, right? I was doing the things that I don't want to do, like play video games for like 10 hours straight or watching Netflix all the time. And I wasn't doing the things that I should be doing, stuff like meditating, stuff like reading, stuff like exercising, stuff like that, right? I wasn't doing those things. That was my issue. So I sat down and I was like, how do I get self-control? How do I solve this issue? I sat down and I was like, self-control is just you telling yourself to do something, right? There's no gimmick, there's no trick. It's just self-control is you controlling yourself. So instead of me complaining about it, instead of me prolonging the issue, I just sat down and was like, okay, I feel like I'm wasting time. What can I do that will stop this feeling? And I said, hey, do something easy, like go journal real quick, or just do like an easy, fast habit to just get your momentum going. That's what I did, right? So I solved my issue by sitting down, no sources around me, just thinking, like just I guess a brainstorming thing, I guess, on how I can fix my issue. Why am I failing continually? Well, it's because I'm wasting time. And the way that I fix that is by just doing stuff in the present. Don't push stuff off. Procrastination, stop doing that. Start doing things now. Start taking action. And that's how I solved my issue. I stopped pushing things off and I started working in the present. Just start with something small, right? If you had the same issue as me, then instead of saying, okay, I need to go run that 50,000 kilometer, I have to run around the entire planet twice in 20 minutes. Instead of acting like there's this huge task, just start with something small, right? I think I've talked about this in another video before. If you build that momentum with self-control and just being like, proving to yourself that you can do what you want to do, like saying, okay, I proved myself that I can pick up that book and read a couple pages. That means that I can read a couple chapters, right? It's just slowly proving to yourself that you have control over yourself, that then gives you back self-control. I think it's an illusion that we don't have self-control, right? When you say you don't have self-control, I think you're tricking yourself to do that, because there's no guy putting you in like a chokehold being like, you can't do that. It's just you. So if you believe yourself to have no self-control, then of course you're not going to, right? But if you're just like, okay, I have self-control, I can just pause right here and okay, I'm gonna go do that now. You know what I'm saying? If you think out loud about it, if you say out loud, okay, I have self-control, I'm gonna go do that, then you'll have self-control, right? You gotta stop tricking yourself into believing that you don't have self-control, because you do. It's by building that momentum, by doing those small things that prove to yourself that you have self-control, that you slowly unravel that like illusion that you don't. And when you do that, then you'll be good. You'll fix your problem. That's just my problem I had. If you have that, then that's how I fixed it. But in general, to solve your problem of failing continually, sit down and be void of any other external sources, anything that's like noise. It's almost like meditation, but not really. It's just a brainstorming session of how you can fix your issue. Because most of us, if we just sat down for like half an hour and was like, okay, what's my biggest issue? We could solve that issue. Maybe not exactly then, but we can make a plan to. You know what I'm saying? We just don't do that, and that's why we have these problems for so long. So sit down and brainstorm for real, like not like some boring level 1 brainstorming, like some actual hard brainstorming thoughts. You know what I'm saying? When you are failing, once again, do not just sit on that feeling of, oh, I'm failing, I suck. What you need to do is you need to get up and start actively trying to solve your problems. And if you do that for like, it probably take like an hour. If you just put all your efforts into figuring out how you can solve your issues, then you're probably gonna solve them. You're thinking too much about how you're failing, and you're not thinking enough on how you can, like fix it. You're thinking, I'm wasting so much time, I'm really messing up. You're thinking about that more than you're thinking about how you can solve it. If you stop thinking about how you're failing a lot and start thinking about like how you can solve your issue, then you'll be out of that state. You give too much time to your failure that you don't give yourself enough time to redeem yourself. Now go do that thing you haven't been doing. Go think about how you can go solve your issues for 30 minutes, an hour, 15 minutes. It could probably take 10 minutes if you just sat down and think. If you do that, I'm sure you'll get over your issues. As you can see, I'm in a different shirt than when I started the video, and that's because I have a tripod in the back. Where's it at? I'm in the way. That back there. I recorded something because I want to get like different angles and stuff, not just like this exact camera all the time. But that recording kind of sucked, and the audio wasn't good, and the camera was kind of like blurry a little bit. So I'm gonna get that fixed. But that's why the video is probably coming out a day later than I thought it would. But I'm gonna get back to it, man. I'm gonna start uploading more consistently again. I know I said that before and I failed, but I'm gonna try to do better this time. I'm getting more consistent with the gym. I'm getting more consistent with like all my habits. So yeah, I'm coming back. If you like this video, then I have another video that you guys could watch. If you want to learn how to be saved, I have a video here. If you like to learn how to start self-improvement, I have a video here. Thanks for watching. Praise God.